Edison Travel Taiwan is Crystal Lin, Director of Marketing. The floor is yours, Crystal. Take it away.
Thank you. It's my honor to be here, and it's also a fun thing to do to promote Taiwan. And I grew up in Taiwan, but I left Taiwan for my education and everything else for 18 years. Now I'm back to Taiwan and working on one of the very passionate missions in my life, which is to promote Taiwan. I like to bring Taiwan to the global market, to the global platform. And I love to share what I know about Taiwan with all of you here. After a long day, hopefully, you guys still have the energy to listen to me. Anyway, Taiwan, we want to call that your next star destination. And at the very beginning, we will go through, some of the key knowledges about Taiwan. But, okay, I got to practice push this one. Since we have a Taipei 101, so I like to call this Taiwan 101. All right. Before we talk about airports, some people may say, why are you here sharing, about Taiwan? Why do we, need to promote Taiwan as the new destination? I kind of wanted quickly to talk to you about what I think there are the key selling points of Taiwan and the key points that you would love to hear. Why Taiwan? Basically, I would like to go through a few things, alpha order, because I don't want to say, which one is the most important, which one is the most fun. I would say diversity. I would say food. I would say nature, shopping. Lastly, warm and welcoming. Okay. Because of everything happened in the past 100 years, in Taiwan, Taiwan has influences from all different places, all different generations. And that creates the diversity nature of Taiwan. And then a lot of people will go to Taiwan for the food. And I'm sure if you are one of the, gourmet chasers, then you will love the food there. Nature. Taiwan is a small island, as you can see, very small. And when you drive from north to south, maybe 4 or 5 hours, then you'll get there. But it has the great coastal formation and all the coastal lines. That's also the, chaser for the nature chasers. Then shopping, of course, we have a lot of local stuff, and shopping is very affordable. That's the most important. Warm and welcoming vibe. Yes? No, I'm not changing yet. Not yet. Okay. So lastly, I want to share with you is, it's a warm and welcoming place. And when you go there, you just can feel the different vibe there. So I did not try to switch the PowerPoint yet. I just want to, give some key points. Now, the first slide you will see, I show you the airports that people generally come to Taiwan. But mostly, I would say 95% people will come through TPE, which is Taipei, the capital of Taiwan. There are a few from Kaohsiung, especially for people from Southeast Asia or some, west of Taiwan, they might come through Kaohsiung instead. TSA mainly is more like a Japan and Korea Airlines. Most of times also, they utilize that for direct travels to China. All right. As you can see, it's an island. It has, majority, I think 60% of the area is mountains. So you can see how much, nature resources we have there. One of the mountains, which is the tallest one, is called Yu Mountain, or called Jade Mountain. The mountain was one of the 14 finalists of the 7 Wonders of the World. So that was, a very treasure for us. And we can even offer one-person mountain climbing program for the Yushan. Okay. Then I want to talk about the weather. It's humid, definitely, especially in summertime, July and August. So I would not recommend, travel in those 2 months. But in general, I like May through September because it's warm and you can do a lot of outdoor stuff. I also enjoy the winter time because when you're in Taiwan, you don't really feel the freezing cold. There is definitely some humidity there, but compared to a lot of countries, I think we are fortunate to have the weather we have. In this island, we have a total 17 cities, and there are 6 offshore islands. But for most of first-time comers to Taiwan, they don't really aim for the offshore islands. Instead, they spend a lot of time, out of those cities. And out of the 17 cities, I will also introduce just some of them. The key ones that have the, attractions or the experiences or the fun things that you like to, try the first time. As I mentioned before, Taiwan has the diversity feature of the nation, of the history, of the culture. And I mentioned about, the influences. So if you look at what I have, written here, of course, we have our local people, the indigenous culture and tribes. And during the past 50, 70 years, Taiwan was controlled by Japanese, and then Dutch and Spanish people also went to Taiwan for various reasons. Mostly, I think it was for business. But those people brought tremendous influence to Taiwan people. And then for the, I call it like emperor dynasties, during the more than 5,000 years of Chinese culture, the last 2 dynasties, which are Ming and Qing, have placed a tremendous influence to Taiwan. Because of that, they have brought food, they have brought cultural events to Taiwan, and everything became like the culture base of Taiwan itself. Then, of course, in 1949 and on, you guys have heard about, our economic growth and political issues, and of course, semiconductor. That's really the, spotlight right now. Okay, festivals, again, from indigenous culture, from everything from China and all the, I call them intruders, and that creates all the festivals that we have in Taiwan. And food, the pictures here, you can see some of them are Michelin gourmets, and some of them are overseas food. Even we have a nice Indian restaurants there. And then there are local stuff, and famous food everybody heard about and everybody wants to try overseas or in Taiwan is Din Tai Fung, the xiaolongbao. Okay, and that has become like a must-go restaurant for most of the visitors to Taiwan. And night markets is one of the best places to go in Taiwan. And there are several night markets. Pretty much every city has one, big, small, or some cities have more than that. And these are all the local stuff. I would not call them Taiwanese local delicacies because some of them do come from China. All right. As I mentioned, we have 17 cities. And I will only, focus on a few of them, starting from Taipei. Taipei is the capital of Taiwan, and everyone heard about Taipei 101. It used to be the tallest building in the world for a few years. And then in 1949, when there was the war, between the two political parties, of course, that creates a lot of movements. At that time, a lot of museum treasures were brought from Beijing to Taiwan. That's really the base of our National Palace Museum. And this museum has the largest collection of all the Chinese treasures. And that's, definitely the must-go for a lot of, visitors to Taiwan. Then, as I mentioned, night market. There are few, I would say the top ones in Taiwan. that happen to be in Taipei. And pretty much all the visitors will visit at least one or two. Some of them will hop into every single night market. Every night they stay in Taiwan. Then next city is called New Taipei City. Actually, New Taipei City is a surrounding area around Taipei City. They used to be one city, but then as the city, grew bigger and bigger, they decided to put them in two governing entities. And out of Taipei, which is called the New Taipei City, it was the nature to start with because it's close to the coast. But then it also was the starting point of the business to Taiwan, as I mentioned about, Spanish people and Dutch. Some of them came to Taiwan from the northern part. So that created some business there. And the first one you see, Jiufen Village, it was a gold mining town. So there is a gold museum there. And of course, because the mining business that created people there, that created a lot of business. So people would go there for the night market and for all the great food there. Then Salmon Lake is an iconic lake in Taiwan because the shapes of the lakes, one looks like a sun, one looks like a moon. That's called it Salmon Lake. Okay, I gotta go a little faster.
Yeah.
The Alishan, very high mountain. It has the great forest feature, and people will also go there for the forest railway. It's a nice experience to try. When you're riding a small train, within the forest. And then that's also a great place for tea farm, for great place for coffee, because we do have some very particular coffee farms there that people cannot find anywhere else. Tainan is the oldest city in Taiwan, so that has a lot of history and culture happening there. And a lot of people will set that as their main goal when they visit Taiwan because of just they want to chase that very ancient China feature there. When we go down to next city, it's called Kaohsiung. Kaohsiung has the largest Buddha figure there. It's called Foguang Mountain. So a lot of people with a religious like a mind, they will go there and visit, and the museum is also a must go for them. Pingdong is the famous for their coast feature. And as you can see the beach there and the rocks and formation and everything, they go there for snorkeling or scuba diving. Taidong is famous for the indigenous tribes and also the coastal lines. If you look at the very bottom photo, it's called Sanshen-Tai. It's one of the 4 stopovers that you have to do when you go to Taichung, and then you just enjoy all the views and all the rocks. Last thing I will mention, Torgo National Park. All the foreigners are asking about when that comes back. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, the huge earthquake has caused a lot of damage there. It's still under repair, and we don't know when it's coming back. Some of the roads are open, but we cannot go inside for the trails yet. Since time is up, I'm going to stop right here.
Okay, wonderful. All right, Crystal Lin, thank you. All the way from Taiwan herself,
My pleasure.
Representing Edison Travel. It is a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for being here today. All right.